Welcome to the Uplift, where we are uplifting our lives, uplifting each other, and uplifting our communities together. Thank you for joining myself, Sai Herrera, and Tessa Savala here, two women, two attorneys, doing it our way, and inviting you here each week to share in on the stories, advice, and life lessons we've picked up along our journeys that keep us uplifted, and that will hopefully do the very same thing for you. Now buckle in and let's get ready to be uplifted.
Truly. Himla bra. Sigh. Hi, this is Tessa. I am here with the wonderful, amazing ray of sunshine, heart full of love. Can't say enough great things about her. Sigh.
Oh, and I'm so honored to be in your presence always, Tessa. You're such a phenomenal woman, and I'm so excited to get to talk to you again today.
Me too. I have seen on social media, I think some of business experts too, talking about how either I want to go back to the 1990s where there's no email and I can wake up on a Saturday morning and I'm not feeling like I'm being, you know, I don't know what this actual term is when they used to tie people up to horses and went in four different ways. Like sometimes that's what it feels like on a weekend morning, and you're like,
Mm,
why am I being pulled in 5,000 places
mm,
and everything feels immediate?
mhm,
But also get back to like the things that you liked and the things that bring you joy and make that your future, because those fill your soul and fill your like brain with all the good chemicals and do all the things that we should do. And I think I've slowly started doing that, but I didn't realize I was doing that.
Well, tell us about your journey. How did you get there, even if it was on accident? I love a happy accident.
Like most things, I think and most people, I got rid of my type A rat race
Mm.
personality. Well, at least I minimized my type A rat race personality during the pandemic. And I just started thinking about the things that made me happy when I was a kid. And those were
Mm.
spending time with my grandparents and my aunts and uncles in Sweden, which meant we went out into the forest and we picked berries or we picked mushrooms
Oh.
if it was mushroom season. And it's just such a like, get back to nature. Granted, the land use laws in Sweden are much different because it allows you to go
Mm.
onto anybody's property and take things that can be replenished by nature.
Wow.
So, like, you can't take an animal, but you could, cut some flowers or pick some berries or what have you, right?
Wow.
And so then our garden grew. We'd always, had a garden, but it wasn't as prolific as it became during the pandemic. And
Mm.
then it really just changed to everything, right? Like, why was I wearing high heels every day?
Mm.
Those like shorten your calves and, hurt your toes and all those things.
Mhm.
And we've always, since my husband went to culinary school, have been very concerned about where our food comes from and what's in it. But I think it just became like heightened during the pandemic
Mm.
because we had been for a few years before then ordering from local farmers and ranchers through a company locally in Austin that dealt with local farmers and ranchers.
Mhm.
But then we just started paying even more attention to, soy free eggs instead of eggs that had soy, and grass fed as opposed to whatever they otherwise feed cows. And I don't really know exactly, but like the details started mattering. Yeah, I think that's it. The details
Mm.
started mattering. And I think when I was a kid, I was like so into details, and
Mm.
like I was the 8-year-old who asked for a book about napkin folding so I could learn new napkin folding techniques because I only had 5 and I needed more. And then I started asking my parents to dress for dinner, and my mom was like, this is a lot of laundry, lady. But I always liked that type of stuff, and I think I just, like, went head on to it during the
Mm.
pandemic, and so did my husband, and it's remember to light candles when you're having a meal or
Mm.
having a coffee, and the
Cute.
details, the
Yeah.
intentional stuff, and I think that's slowing you down, and I think you do a better job of, like, slowing down as a kid, right? You weren't so, "I gotta get this done, I gotta get this done, and I need to make sure I get to the grocery store, blah, blah, blah."
Mm.
It felt good, right? Like you feel it peace when you start feeling like, I don't know if it's you have, I would say you have more control over your time or you're more protective of your time. And I
Hmm.
think kids do a really good job of protecting their time. Like, I want to go read, or I want to go play, or I want to study, whatever it might be.
Well, I have two thoughts that come right away from what you just said, which is, the illusion that we can control time, first of all.
Magic powers.
Like time is the fun thing. I would say that children, I don't think that they're good at controlling their time at all. I think that they just have less of a concept of time. Um,
Ooh,
and I think that they live in the moment. And when you live in the moment, you have all the time in the world, right?
yeah. That's
With
an excellent
adults,
way of phrasing it.
yeah, I mean, when you become an adult, you're given this, again, this script, this, kind of instruction without there being an actual, guidebook or anything. But you're given this instruction, you're given this, kind of, um, it feels like a duty or like, requirement that you have to do it this way and you have to like fit all of these things in. And I feel like, social media and social pressures in general, like have always made it, more difficult in terms of like not being able to just be true to you, but to try to keep up with everyone else doing everything that they're doing, and trying to do it as well as them, if not better, whatever. I feel like children, at before a certain age, I think that they're just living. And I find it so beautiful. And I think it's, incredible. And it makes me think about, this parallel between, you know, childhood Tessa and COVID Tessa. As you sound like a Barbie. COVID
I do.
Barbie.
Oh, gosh.
um, but it makes me think about like the fact that so many of us like, had, I guess, this pause on reality in a way, right? I mean, COVID was different
Yeah.
for everyone, of course. There's so many different experiences, but so many people really like they were home for the first time. They were kind of grounded. It's like when you're a
Yeah.
plane and you're zipping around every day, all day, and then all of a sudden you're grounded, And I think that time where you got to take stock of how you were really feeling and what was really bringing you joy and what was deterring from your life or taking away from your joy, right? I think that's the thing with children. I mean, they just want to have fun. It's not just girls. Like they just they're just always about it, right? Like they're like, what can I do that's fun today? Like what can I do now? And I see it with my baby, like she, is thinking more and more ahead. And what I have noticed is like she was never anxious, but now that she can think farther ahead into the future, that's where anxiety lives, and you see more of it, right, as you start to get that capacity. And so I say all of that to say that, I think COVID gave us, um, a lot of us, an opportunity at least to take stock of what we're doing, why we're doing it. Does it make sense? Is it aligned with who we are, with our values, with, what brings us joy, all that good stuff. But
Is it
also,
even your
mhm.
goals, right? Or your
Exactly.
thoughts?
Yeah, like really taking stock of being like, is this for me? Is this for somebody else? Like, why am I even doing this if it doesn't make me feel good? And I think the thing that's not being said too is like, COVID was scary as hell,
Oh, yeah, it was.
and it wasn't just that we were, at home, that we were grounded, so to speak. Um, but like we didn't know if we were going to live. Like
Yep.
I mean, I think that it's kind of like a collective near death experience, if you will.
Yeah.
And of course, like everybody had different, levels of closeness or different lived experience in terms of how COVID affected them and their families, and people that they loved in general. But I mean, people were dying and it was
Yep.
terrifying. And so I feel like when something like that happens, and I feel like that happens with war, obviously it happens with global pandemics, we know now. It happens with natural disasters. It happens even with like the randomness of like losing people during, like a car accident or just like something that's completely unexpected. It gives you a little perspective to think like, okay, well, obviously I'm not going to live forever. Like what do I care about? What do I want to do in this lifetime? And so I think it's those two things of like taking stock and understanding like, life is precious, and also like, the lesson of the child of like live now. That's all that we have is right now.
Do you remember when you first were impacted by rules made up by somebody else on what the future should hold, right? Like, this is how you should do it, or this is what you need to do before you
God.
turn 30, or whatever
I
it might
wish I
be.
wish I had a better memory so I could give really good examples. I feel like that's just every day, especially for a female,
Mm,
coded
yeah.
person. Especially for a female coded person of color, like especially for somebody who, is just I don't know, living with folks that, can be strict or have opinion. Like all families have opinions,
Yeah.
right? So I just feel like you're constantly judged. And I don't know anyone else's experience except mine, so I can't speak for it. But I mean, I remember being judged in all these ways that I thought were so weird. And I felt all the pressures and, from simple things just as simple as like dress codes. Like I still hate dress codes because I remember feeling like really demeaned. Like I remember like people measuring like how long my skirt was and like, just weird things that I just felt like, come on, like grow up. Like what are
That, and
you
it's not
doing?
addressing the actual problem, right? It's making
Yes.
women conform, but the reality is it's the people who are over sexualizing young women or young
Exactly.
boys, whatever the
Yeah,
case
yeah,
may be.
whatever it is, it's like it's weird and it's making me feel really strange. But beyond that, I think that the next things that I still get like irritated with this question. I'm working on it. But I know it seems harmless, but like people are always asking you when you're a kid, "Oh, what are you going to be when you grow up?"
Ugh.
Why?
You don't have to
Why?
decide what I wanted to
Why?
be at when I was 6. I wanted to be president of the United States.
That
I
would make
didn't
so much
realize
sense.
I
I say yes. I say bring back that campaign right
I
now.
mean, at that point I didn't realize I could not be because I was not born
I
here.
know. We can change
But
that. I mean,
but also now that I work in politics, I'm like, hell no.
yeah, yeah, that would be your life. Oh, all the day long.
Ugh,
Yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm saying is like the pressures begin so young. It's hard to even literally think about, oh, well, when I was good until I was 7, or, and somebody said this
yeah.
thing. I feel like it's like day one. Like, what color blanket do you get? Like, what clothes do you wear? Like, how are people talking to you? What do people expect of you as a little girl or as a little boy? I mean, the developmental psychology of it all, right?
Oh. Oh
There's
my
so
god. I
much. There's
forgot we like
so
gendered
much.
everything as to
Gendering
little kids.
everything, and even when little kids say something like, "Oh, I want to be whatever firefighter," oh, girls aren't firefighters, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like they just I say they as in like, some general people, but it's like people say a lot of things and do a lot of things that will shape a child's mind, of course. And I can't remember, when it began, but what I can say is like I remember feeling like, just always judged, honestly, for what I wore, for how I talked. I've talked about this before where people thought like I didn't like them because I wasn't like bubbly enough or whatever. I didn't say hi enough,
Ugh.
I guess.
You didn't
Like,
smile
I
enough.
didn't,
Oh my
but
god.
literally, I can't tell you how many times, like people have been like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're not smiling. And so that's my point where it's just like, it's relentless, honestly. It's exhausting, honestly, in my experience. And I just wanted to like, learn things, just
Yep.
like be left alone in a lot of
Just
ways.
be, right? Like, why don't
Just
we allow people to
be.
be?
Oh, just be. And so yeah, so I try to think about like how can we act differently. And so whenever someone asks me like, oh, I wonder what, your baby will be when she grows up, and I'm like, she's gonna be her. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's always been her. She's sweet, she's kind, she's the best. Like she's still gonna be her no matter what she does.
Yep.
And I always tell her like, yeah, you could, study veterinarianism and you could work as a veterinarian, But
Hmm.
is that your identity? No, that's something
No,
you do. And then you might do it for, a few years or a few decades or whatever, and then you might do something else. You can do a lot of
absolutely.
things. You can
And you
have
can
five
keep changing.
businesses and do that too. Like, do whatever you want.
Absolutely.
Change whenever you want. Yeah, 40 is a great
Right.
time. 50 is a great time to just change careers. Like, do whatever the fuck you want, basically.
I have started following on Instagram a woman in England who is 81 and
Hmm.
is does videos, little reels of her outfits. Sorry, I should not be little. It does great, exceptional reels of her outfit of the day and how she styles it. And I'm just like,
Yes.
yes, please, 81-year-old, keep
Yes.
going. Can I
Oh.
send this to my mom and will she watch it?
Oh my God, I wish I would have done that when my grandma was still alive because she was slaying it. And
Yes.
everywhere she
It's
went,
so
everyone was
amazing.
like, oh my God, that's amazing. I love
And
it.
then I have to think of our local hero, Willie Nelson in Austin,
Yes.
who earned his black belt in karate at 80
Wow.
and started
That's
karate at like
incredible.
60, I think.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean. It's like, it's such an interesting time because for now, people are living longer than, they ever have before. And it's like we have new eras and new opportunities that other generations did not have. Or even if
Yeah.
they did, they didn't have like the freedom or access or whatever, to actually explore different parts of their being. So
Or
it's
the
amazing.
acceptability of it, right? Like I
That
think
part.
I
Hmm.
I like to think we were a little better at accepting people at any age doing what they want to do,
Yes.
whatever that might be.
Yes. I love when I see like those older folks who are like still gymnasts and things like, and
Oh,
they just like people are shook whenever they see them like just like doing
yes.
gymnastics in the park, and I'm just like, yes, like I just love the fact that people can blow other people's expectations away, and I think it's because those expectations are so oppressive. Like they're just
They are.
truly, I mean, and the worst part is when you internalize them, it sounds like it's coming from you and not all
Yep.
these people who pressured you. And so, yeah, I appreciate what you said in terms of like how you got to that place. And I think it's a matter of even having the time and space to reflect on what matters to
Hmm.
you. That's, a
And that's a
gift
privilege I
and a
get.
privilege for sure. But I wonder if that's not something that, could be accessible to everyone in some way. And I think I would say yes. Like I have learned from friends who have done like 12-step programs and other kind of healing programs where they do this exact thing. They like their first step is to actually like have awareness of the issues and take stock of like what they're doing in their life that makes sense and what they're doing that doesn't make sense, right? And so i feel like um I feel like anybody could do it if they could make, even the smallest amount of time. Maybe you don't have a whole day for yourself or even a morning to yourself, but maybe it's like, you journal for 5 minutes before you go to bed every night or whatever.
What did you enjoy as young Sai?
Hmm.
Like three things that you enjoyed as young Sai.
What did I enjoy? Well, I love food. So I was really
Yes.
about carbs. I,
Yes.
I was known for loving bread and pasta, and I still do. That some things never change. I really enjoyed
Yes.
that.
100% support this journey. Not that you need my approval. I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
but I appreciate your support.
let's say no to everybody who said carbs are bad because the
I don't
entire
know.
world
I
consumes
don't,
carbs.
honestly, I don't get that argument because here's the thing. I've had to do a lot of like mentally strenuous, things in my life, taking the bar, like law school in general, even
Mm,
college, like all the things, like the studying, the test, whatever, all the things, right? Like, and all I know is that when I get some carbs, I can think like no other.
because
And
it's
when I
brain food. Hello.
and if I use my brain all day and I don't like have carbs, like you don't even want to know me.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is like science and people, not even science, like let's be real, like the people selling these diets, snake oil. I don't even know what else to say, but yeah, no, like I know in my body that like carbs are good to me. I love them.
Yep.
So that was definitely the first thing. I've always loved the water, so no surprises there. I used to love going swimming when I was a kid. And the few times that we got to like actually go to a beach, like that was magic and amazing. I enjoyed traveling whenever we got to. We like I've said before, we didn't have a lot of money, but we would get in the station wagon and we would get somewhere, and we got to see mountains
See,
and we got to see beaches. Like we still had an incredible, opportunity to be
yes.
exposed.
Yes.
And then lastly, I mean, I would just say that I've always loved music. So again, not another big surprise, but it's weird. I have like an interesting relationship with music as a child because like I wanted to start playing violin when I was in the fifth grade because all my friends were doing it. And so I enjoyed learning in that way. I was an orchestra geek, and all of the coolest people were in orchestra. Those are my friends. And I did enjoy that because it was like my own thing, and it was different, and it was pretty cool. And I started playing music in my family band too, which I think I've always just loved culture. So I loved, our food and our dancing and our music and all the things. And even though sometimes it was tough as a kid to like be gigging like 3 nights a week, like a full-time musician,
Oh,
it was also like it has its pros and cons kind of thing. Like, I got to like
yeah.
see all these incredible dancers, and I got to see other musicians and their musicianship and, the music, and I even got to like, pick songs that I wanted to play, stuff like that. So yeah, I've always loved all those things. Those nothing new. Just things I did then, things I do now.
Yeah. Oh, but do you feel like your life is richer even today with those things still in it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And one thing that I've noticed as an adult, like you were referring back to, being in the rat race, I
Hmm.
think that you get lost
Yep.
in all of that. I'll shout out my sister again, Monica, who says you get lost in the sauce, and I couldn't agree more when it comes to like this expectation, right, of like having to achieve, I guess.
Performative.
The
It's like
performative
perform.
achievement, that
Mhm.
part, I take issue with that, society. Okay, I'm talking to you, society.
Yep. 100%.
I take issue with this. This is the part that I think is really the thing that gets us lost, truly, because what I have found on my healing journey is like I truly got caught up in like I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, and it's like when you're smart and you like have, ability to get to that place, but like you just start planning it and you just start sticking to the plan, and then you want to like be efficient and you want to like, do all the things the best that you can, and then everyone tells you to be the best. That's another like kind of programming thing that I don't appreciate, honestly.
Mhm.
Where I'm like, why? Why do you have to be the best? Why can't you just be?
Oh, yeah.
So all of
Yeah.
that to say that when you talk about, coming out of that, I think about it as like coming out of this fog. And this fog is, this illusion that you need to get other people's approval of you.
And we only
And
need our own approval.
yeah, and I mean, and honestly, like, I guess yes, but also I'm just like, we don't need approval, period. Like, you,
Ooh,
like,
deep
I'm,
cut. Yeah. Okay, let's go.
I just feel like you're a person, you have value, you have worthiness, period.
Oh,
Like I just don't,
yeah.
I understand that, you can always be better. I understand that you can always do more. I understand that like if you're, like let's say you're struggling, I don't know, like let's say you're struggling with addiction. Okay, well maybe that's not helping your quality of life. You deserve
Yep.
better. right?
Hmm.
Let's say you're struggling with being a jerk to other people. Okay, well, you're just going to isolate yourself. So that's not good for you. You deserve better, even if you're a jerk. Like,
This is starting to like remind me of why I went to law school, because I believed that everyone deserved representation, even the most horrendous people
yes,
on the planet,
yes,
because all
yes,
of them have something good in them, right? Like the serial
yes.
killer could love butterflies and protect butterflies,
Oh my gosh.
whatever it might be.
We were just talking about that today, my partner and I. I was like, I don't get why serial killers are a thing. I'm like, everyone else is like, different places learning stuff. I'm like, but serial killing that's really bad. I'm trying to figure
Yeah.
out how this is okay. But it's really true. Like if you think like that is the perfect example. Because if you think about, like do criminals, and I'm not gonna say criminals, but people who are accused of crimes, like do they deserve good and competent representation? Hell yeah. Like that's
Yes.
that's how it should always be. Like we're not going to be mindless mobs of people who are just gonna like convict and execute people. No, like we have to have some fairness. So all that to be said, I really believe that we can find ourselves by stepping back from this fog, right? And it's like, to me, you kind of like get pushed towards this fog more and more as you grow up because you got to make money and you got to contribute to society and you got to do all
Oh,
these
you got to have all the
things.
shiny
You got
things.
to have all the shiny things, and like everyone's going to judge you if you don't, and you're going to be a loser if you don't. And I'm sorry to use those words, but it's like that's how people make you feel, right? Like they really make you
Hmm.
feel like this is kind of like a do or die, life or death situation. And for me, I think that we need to shift from this impossible standard. I'm going to call it that because if you think about the term rat race, I don't actually know where that comes from, except for like the experiments of rats and scientists and all of that, maybe that. But my thought about it is like, in general, what it means is you are always trying to catch up with other people. You're always comparing yourself to other people. You're always trying to have something that they have or make appearances to make it seem like you have what they have or that you're, in some ways better um, than whatever you think you are, honestly. Like that's essentially what I think of when I think about the rat race. Like you have to keep going, you have to keep being productive, you have to do more, you have to get ahead, you have to do all the most that you can. Well, the problem with that is that has nothing to do with who you are.
Yeah. I remember the first time I heard the phrase keep up with the Joneses. And the
Mm-hmm.
first thought in my like young teenage mind was, why do I care about what the Joneses do?
Who the hell are they?
Who are they? Who made up this rule? Why do I
Yeah.
care? I
But
like what I like. That's it.
yeah, and see that's the problem. That right there is the biggest problem in my mind. Now, if you want everything that the Joneses have, and that's like they're an inspiration to you, it's completely in alignment with what you want and what you are trying to have in your life, and all the things. Okay, but the problem is that we don't even get the time and space to really figure that out, actually.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like we
Hmm.
were talking about before. It's like the grooming starts so young that before you know it, you're in midlife thinking, how did I get here? Like, how did this happen exactly? Right. And if you go back and look, it's like, well, my parents thought I should do this, and this is what my family's always done, or whatever. Like, there's so many, be a doctor or a lawyer, programming. There's so many scripts, and we hang on to each one for different reasons, right? All of our different lived experience. And at the end of the day, the biggest problem, like I said, is that doesn't have anything to do with actually who you are,
Yep.
what works for you, what does a happy whole life look like to you, what would make you feel like you're a whole person again. Like I think so many times that we're just really trying to return back to our childhood selves, and you said it so
Yeah.
beautifully just talking about describing your childhood self because it's like it was easy, right? It
Yep.
just was, you were just you. you
Yep.
didn't have to overthink it. You didn't have to
Mm-mm.
write a thesis about it. Like it was
Mm-mm.
just you just were. And I think, all of the messaging is really telling us that we're not worthy to have whatever we, truly desire unless we like prove ourselves to someone. I don't even know who we're proving ourselves to. I watched
That's
a
an
video.
excellent question.
I watched a video one time and it was so refreshing because it was like, nobody cares. It
Yes.
was like,
Yes.
hey, guess what? Nobody cares. Nobody
It's
cares
like,
what you're doing. Nobody
yep.
cares about your achievements. Nobody cares when you fail. Like, and it's not to say that like you don't have people that care about you. Like, hopefully you do. But like all of this imaginary thing that we have in our head where we're trying to like impress, the Joneses. We're trying to impress like these fictional people. They're not real. Like literally nobody
Yeah.
really cares. Everyone's focused on themselves, frankly. Like, and I don't mean to say that nobody cares about anybody. I'm just saying like as much as you're thinking about what other people think about you, that person's doing the same thing. They're not thinking about, they're not actually thinking about you. They're just thinking about what you think of them.
It,
I hope I'm
from
making sense.
You are. It reminds me of a line from Schitt's Creek that I say probably on a weekly basis to somebody, from Alexis talking to her brother David when he's
Hmm.
going to get his driver's license. And she
Hmm.
says, David, nobody is thinking about you the way you're thinking about you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly that. And that's what I'm saying is like we get so caught up in this illusion, right? Where we think that we have to prove something. And to the prior point, like who are we proving it to exactly? And when is it enough even?
And I think for me, as I get older, I realize that I am convinced that it is a way to hold back people in this country who are marginalized, whether they be people of color, people of
Hmm.
various religions, different sexualities, genders, immigration status. If we can
Hmm.
put all these fake rules that somebody
Hmm.
made up at some point in time on top of them, then we can always keep
Mm.
them in line.
Yeah, I
And
mean
I,
that's
by
that's it.
nature, dislike that at bazillion percent, which is bad
Hmm.
math, but it like
But good
totally
logic.
stirs something inside me. Like I feel like at some point in time in my previous lives, I was probably wrongly imprisoned or something because
Yeah, the
I'm just like,
justice, the
yeah,
justice. I know. I have that too, where I'm just like, but justice. We need justice.
yes.
And I
Or
and
just leave
I
people alone. Like maybe I was a
leave,
witch bird
let
at the
them
stake.
be.
Who
Just let them
knows?
be. I mean, that would make sense because I mean, you can't be a woman with opinions and whatnot.
Nope.
And definitely not power.
Nope.
I heard this wonderful thing sidebar on witches where they were saying that witchcraft was evil until like white men figured out how to make money off of it.
But why
I
is
was
it?
like, uh-uh.
I just don't, and I don't understand why people are afraid of people who are good at things, whatever it
I
be, right?
know.
Whether
I'd be
it's
like,
witchcraft or
sweet,
the
help me
law.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
because maybe they don't, yeah. I mean, people, of course, like the biggest fear is the unknown, right? Like ignorance is a bitch, basically. I mean, I shouldn't even say it's a bitch. It's just terrible because, like it actually impacts everybody who allows it to. So this is why I think I'm so committed to learning because it's like if you don't learn, then you literally are going to be operating out of fear.
this is something else said for childhood. I have always been naturally curious. Are
Yes.
you also naturally curious?
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't get enough of everything.
Yep.
I just
Yep.
I wanted to know everything and I wanted everything to make sense. And I still
Yep.
do, and that's one of my biggest struggles because the world does not make sense. But
But it can.
but again, if you have the way I think about it is like if you have if you have the right outlook, um and you make it right for you, basically, right?
Bingo.
Because
Yep.
like for example, I used to wonder like why is there suffering? Like, why is there, why is there natural disaster? Why is there disease? Why are all of these bad things happening? But now I think about it in terms of like, those are all individual people's journeys. Like, I don't know enough about, what's going on to even understand why that makes sense for them. Or maybe it doesn't make sense. I don't know. But it helps me to understand that, like, I can only really focus on my journey in that way because at the end of the day, like, this is the only vantage point that we have, like, you can try to
Yeah.
perspective share as much as you can, and you can try to empathize with people and all of that good stuff, but truly, I mean, you can't live their experience. You don't know.
Reminds me of that saying, if you can be anything in this world, be kind,
Mm,
right? Whether it's kindness to yourself, kindness to others, kindness to nature, kindness
hmm
to animals. I
yeah.
just, it always baffles my mind when people choose the unkind route.
Well, and it also makes me think, you know
Who
as we were
hurt
talking
you?
about, yeah, literally
Sorry.
that, I'm just like, what did they do to you, like, I that's always my first thought, because I've like, when I studied psychology, it was because I was so fascinated, like, people, that is a question mark. Like, let me try to figure that one out. People are very interesting, um especially in groups, like society, like, oh, social psychology was my favorite, because I was just like, how do people make decisions as a group, and how do they make such bad decisions? Like, please, let's study this. It's so interesting. But people are going to people, as a friend of mine likes to say. And that's okay. I think that's what's really amazing about the human experience is,
Yeah.
like, I can sit here and say, like, oh, learn more things and don't be ignorant. But, like, I'm still ignorant of so many things I haven't learned yet,
Yeah.
right? And that other people have. And I used to be more ignorant of things that I know more about now. And that's how there's been growth, right? Like, that's how you feel
Yep.
the difference in what you've done and how you've grown. So, yeah, for me, I think, we can find joy by first, like, just making the space, taking stock of what aligns with us, and really figuring out, like, who we are at the core of it all, right? You can't really determine, or even, like, kind of, it's aspire to any specific thing in your life if you don't know what you really care about, what your values are. Like, you can't
Yeah.
be in alignment if you don't do that work first. So that's the first thing that comes for me.
I wonder if we figure out what we care about when we're kids and if
Mm,
we need to go back to those type of things, right? Like
mm.
I feel as though sometimes my childhood self had much like cleaner views of the
You had the
world.
intuition. That's why
Yeah.
you didn't have all the complicated, concepts. And when you think of concepts, even, it's like, you say the word concepts, it sounds like it's some benign, like, very, like, impartial thing. All these concepts that you have in your head, these are other people's opinions, actually. Even if you think about, like, I used to love studying philosophy in undergrad. And it's like,
Mm,
that's literally
yes.
just a bunch of men's opinions from, like, hundreds of years ago.
Yep.
And I'm not saying they're good or bad, right? Like, some of
Yep.
them I still think are great, and some of them I disagree with, and all the things. But what I'm saying is, like, everything that's clouded your pure essence, that's all other people's
Yeah.
stuff that you're carrying, honestly, right? And, like, you're trying to make it fit, or you're trying to make it make sense, and, like, that's why I call it the fog. It's like the fog of adulthood, right? It's like, now you have to think about everybody's opinions, and you have to, square them up with yours and make it make sense. And yeah, I really think we're just trying to get back to our purest kind of sense of self, which, when you're a child, like, you're just living, like, you're just doing your thing. And yeah, it can be confusing and it can be scary at times and all those things, but it's like, I mean, it's hard for me to even say this, because I wanted to say, who you are, but it's like, so many kids are treated so badly that, like, sometimes you're not even
Yeah.
able to develop to that point. But if you're lucky enough, to have that sense of self and be able to have like space to actually express yourself and who you were in your household and in your childhood, then like that's you like that and you're still that person. You just are trying to square that person with this world and this set of rules and this set of expectations as an adult.
Fascinating. Mostly because I tend not to care about other people's
Hmm.
expectations of me,
Yeah. Well,
which
I
is
mean,
crazy because I look like I fit in at
well,
most
I
times.
don't know. See that part's tricky to me. So like I used to say that too, and I used to really believe that I did not care what other people thought about me actually. Uh and sometimes that worked for me, but one of the things I realized on more of like a, I don't know if you would call it like a meta type level or something, but day to day, like people would talk about me or whatever, and I'd be like, yeah, I don't care. Like I don't, none of my business type thing, right?
Yep.
Um, and that's one level of that, but there's another level, the larger level of the, like forces and the winds that are taking you to who you actually become or how you live your life more accurately, right? And that part, when I really reflected on that, I realized, oh yeah, actually, like I only did this because, these people told me that. And I believe that since I was, 8 or whatever. And that led me down this path, right? And I only wear this because of that thing that I thought when I was 12, and now that's what I always do, or whatever. And when I really start looking back, I'm like, I might not care what people are saying about me now, but when I was at different ages, like people heavily influenced me, and they influenced you too, because you can't go through life without being influenced by anybody. Of course somebody influenced you throughout your life, and it's not a bad thing. It's just literally like you cared about somebody's opinion at some point, and
This is true.
that could be internalized.
I guess I just put up a big brick wall if I didn't feel that it fit with who I am.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
And see,
I'm just
that's
like,
that's the
I'll open
difference.
this window for the things that I approve of for myself. Everything else gets the stone wall.
Yes, and that's exactly what we need more of. And that what you're talking about is having a strong sense of self.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is that most of the people who go through life, or I can't say most of the people, I don't know, but in my lived experience, I see so many people who are lost because they never, if they did have a sense of self in childhood, they started letting go of that to please other people.
I can see that it's people on the outside of this like big castle fortress wall chipping away
Mm-hmm.
at it, trying to get into
Mm-hmm.
you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, some people's walls are way stronger than others,
Hmm.
way thicker than others. Like some people have no walls at all, to be
Yep.
honest. Like some people are very, very influenceable, if that's a word. And they're very sensitive to other people's energy. And this is how you get people pleasers, right? Where
Yeah.
they're just like, well, to stay safe, I need to sense what other people are wanting from me and do that, because that's, their experience, that's how they stayed safe. That's how that was survival for them. So having a strong sense of self is like not a given. And that's why I'm saying, like, if you're lucky enough to have that as a child, then I think that's the like kind of purest form of it all that you could try to get back to. And no matter what your childhood was like, there is a true authentic you.
Yep.
And, no matter how old you are or where you are in your life, like, there's kind of, in my mind, there's no better investment. Like, I don't know, who was the philosopher, Aristotle or someone, who said, know thyself? Like, I've been
Yep.
going back to that one yeah, recently I've been going back to that one to be like, damn, that was right on. Like, if you can really spend time getting to know who you really are, when nobody's watching, when nobody's around, when nobody, is in your ear. I mean, frankly, you have to start cleansing what's already in your mind, right? And this is why I appreciate stillness and reflection so much, because I don't know how else you start sorting that out without that. Otherwise, you have, everyone's opinions, you have people online, you have social media, you have, all these stimuli, all this noise, and you can never get back to just, you know, finding yourself. So it's a whole journey for sure. No matter who you are or how strong a sense of self you've had, I feel like we've all had times where something pulls us away from that. And so it's the practice of trying to, go back there and keep going back there.
And I think you can keep building and repairing your wall too, right? Like
Mm,
when cracks form, you can make it stronger. You can replace stones that people have chipped away at. Reminds me of the podcast we did about Taylor Swift, who said, treat your time and yourself like a luxury.
yes. Yes. And they cannot afford you,
Correct,
honey.
right? Like think about yourself and your time that way because not everything is worth your time. Like if
Yes.
you don't want to go to the event, say no.
Mm.
If you don't think that whatever is on trend is great, don't do it. It's not a no. Do what feels right to you. Like trust yourself.
Yeah. And I feel like there could be some really practical exercises out of what we're talking about right now. So I'm just going to start trying to think them out. But the first one that
Awesome.
comes to my mind is a visualization of space. So if we all just, took a moment to like sit right now, close our eyes, and if you're not driving, and think about um, like visualize the castle that you're talking about, right?
Mhm.
And maybe it's a castle, maybe it's like a tree house and a palm tree. That would be mine.
I
Whatever
would be a
your little,
cottage and on top of a mountain in the
yes.
middle of a
Oh, yeah.
forest. Yep.
That makes sense. There should be fairies.
There is fairies, yes, 100%.
Whatever the fantasy is for you, right? Like, make your like perfect little slice of paradise in your mind,
Yeah.
and you're there now. And what do you see? What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you feel? What do you hear? Right? Like, really be in that space. And then think about a little piece of, let's say, land. Um, and think about it as like, this is yours. This, you can do whatever you want in this space. This is for you. This is your refuge. This is your, what's the right word? Like your, um this is kind of your safe place, if you will. Like, this is your space, right? And then think about, like, anytime anyone comes into this bubble, they're going to take a little piece of that space away. And the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of times we think of our capacity as limitless, right? But it's not. It's just like land. There's only so much of it, right? So let's say you have this little space and it's a piece of paradise, it's your little slice of heaven type thing. And every time somebody comes in or asks you for something, like, you're going to be giving up part of it. And you only have so much. And it's not to think in
Mhm.
scarcity, but it's to think about, what do you want to preserve and what are you willing to sacrifice? Because that's
Yeah.
what it is, right? Like, you're sacrificing some of your capacity. And I always like to think about it like, if you're saying yes to someone, you're saying no to someone else. If you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Like,
Yep.
if I want to make music tonight, but somebody wants me to, I don't know, go to a mixer, and I'm like, oh, well, that could be good for business or whatever. It's like, yeah, it could be, but like, what do I really want to do with my
Mhm.
time? Time is all that I have, right? And I just like the idea of having a sense of space, because it helps me visualize that, like, there is a limited resource, and we can't give everything away, because then you have nothing left, right? If you don't have your
Absolutely.
refuge, how are you gonna go recover and be able to go out into the world again and offer anything to anyone?
And we all need recovery time.
Yeah.
Uh, I did something I have had yet to have done this week. I had my niece and her her people over for dinner on Wednesday this week,
Hmm.
and there's always some sort of salad involved, and I usually make the salad dressings, and this time I did not.
Hmm.
And it
Mhm.
was very hard for me to serve a store-bought salad dressing. And I confessed during the dinner, I did not make the salad dressing. The salad's already dressed. It's a lovely Greek vinaigrette, but was not made by me. And I might have nightmares about it, but I just need you to know that there might be ingredients in there that I do not approve of.
Is it because that's what they preferred, or did you have a reason to stray from your norm?
The salad dressing is excellent,
Okay,
one, but I also was like, I'm going to save myself the 5 minutes and not make
there you
a
go.
salad
Oh,
dressing because I was making a very complicated protein that I'd never done on my own
gotcha.
before.
There
Usually
you
my
go.
husband does it,
Uh-huh.
and I succeeded, but at the same time I was like so scared of like overcooking the protein that I was like, okay, all my energy is going to ensure that this protein is safe and well prepared.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, I think the one thing that I noticed when you talked about that is how you use the word confess.
Mhm. Yep. For me, it
Like
was
it's
like a mortal sin by serving something that came prepared from a store. Yes. And that is a me
but
issue. I know.
yeah, yeah, I just want you to be more gentle with yourself, and kind to yourself. We talked about being kind to yourself,
Yes.
and like, would you judge me the way you're judging yourself if I serve a
Absolutely
salad
not.
like that?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well
Absolutely
then
not.
you shouldn't be treating my friend that way, right? Like that's
You are
not
correct.
okay.
I'm
Uh,
working on it. Mhm.
but that's the kind of thing where it's like, again, like I bet you nobody there was like, oh no, I can't believe this, like except for you, right? So like the
Yep.
perfect example of like,
Uh,
no offense, Tessa, but nobody cares.
I
And I
totally
love
agree.
you, and I love that you care. And nobody else does because I'm sure the meal was so delicious. And, you knocked the protein out of the park, and the salad was delicious too. And everybody loved it. And so they don't care, right? But at
They
the same
don't.
time, the pressures that you put on yourself, and the only reason I'm saying it is because I know, like it's important to you for a lot of reasons. And I love
Yep.
that you want to always act from your values and
Yep.
give yourself some slack too.
Yeah, and I think my point is that no matter how small it is or how silly it
Mm-hmm.
is to
Mm-hmm.
sounding to other people, if it's
Mm-hmm.
important to you, it's important to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And also like we're not perfect either. So like
No,
I see both
absolutely
I feel
not.
like I see that's such a perfect example of like both sides of the coin, like the paradox of it all, right? Like
Yeah,
you could hold those two ideas at the same time where it's like,
absolutely.
yeah,
And
this
you
is
know what?
important
The world did
and
not
also it's
end.
okay. Exactly. There you go.
Yep.
And
Everything
so
was
I'm
okay.
always like, forgive yourself quickly is
Yes.
another thing. But also like, be careful with whose expectations you're letting in and whose voice you're listening to, right? So you know that you care about that because it's coming from you, your values,
Yep.
things that
Yep.
really matter to you, and
Yep.
that's beautiful. Now, the thing that makes me worried is when people are acting in a way that they're acting out of someone else's values or expectations, and
Absolutely.
when I was thinking about, our sanctuary, that's the word I was trying to find before. When you're thinking about your sanctuary, I also wanted to say, let's put, a little gate around it. So I'm sure you have like a little picket fence or something around your
Hmm.
cottage. I'll have like a little beechwood fence or something. And I wanted to think about the fact that like trying to make everything, that's mental or not physical, right? So thinking about like all of the thoughts and expectations and the programming that people try to gift you with, right? And thinking about like, what are you going to let in your game
Yep.
and what
And
aren't
it
you going to
doesn't
let
have
in
to
your
be
game?
perfect. And you
Yeah.
don't have to make absolutely brilliant decisions all the time.
No, no, yeah. And even if you make, decisions that are, well, first of all, the alignment can change all the time because you can change as a
Hmm.
person. But
Absolutely.
I love this visualization. For me, it helps to think about like taking stock, as in, like, let me go walk my property and see what's here that still serves me,
Mm-hmm.
and invite, the people, the thoughts, the things that don't serve me to go outside of my gate.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's why the gate is such a great symbol, right? Like you could
Hmm.
just usher those things right on out. I
Yeah,
love that visualization.
and it's not like an impenetrable, wall. You have a gate.
Yeah.
So you can invite guests in, you can let them know when it's time to leave. You can, have something in for a visit and they can go after that. You can have something that serves you for 10 years. And then on the 11th year, it doesn't serve you anymore,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? So,
I mean, the rat race served me for a while,
yeah.
thinking that, and I never was one to achieve because I wanted other people to see it. It
Hmm.
was because I had like, well, I guess I still do. I make lists of what I want to achieve every single day.
Hmm.
And some days I get them all, some days I don't. But I have learned to accept that that's okay. And that it's,
Hmm.
what is this? It's a marathon, it's a journey, it's not a
Hmm.
sprint towards everything.
Yeah. And and I think, like, even when you think about the list, like, I still do. For some reason, I love a list.
Same.
I think it's very efficient. It also helps me keep focus. Like, there's a lot of very good plus signs to a list. But I think one of the things that I would probably apply after the lessons that I'm taking from this talk, even, is every time I make a list, I would also take a moment to look back at that list and see which of those items are in alignment with my true values and who I am today
Hmm.
versus maybe who I was or who I think people want me to be.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes I make a list and, honey, it's too long. It is too long of a list. It's not a realistic list. It's a wish list, if you will.
Yeah, and that's
And
okay, right? Like I
and
have
that's okay.
multiple wish lists out there in the world.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with an aspirational list, but sometimes I realize, like, oh, I'm putting things on this list, and the thing about, me is, like, I'll have a list that, like, goes to the next day and goes to the next day because that list, I'm always adding to it and it's always growing, all the things. Um, but one of the things I realized as I'm going day to day is, like, there are things that I avoid doing and things that I'm quick to do, get off my list.
Hmm.
And sometimes that gives me a reflection moment of, like, why am I not doing this thing? Why has this thing been on my list for like 3 weeks? Like, why
Is it
why
usually
can't
something
I
really
do it?
simple?
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's not something I can't do, but it's something I can't do.
Yep.
It doesn't make any sense. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it gives me a moment of reflection to be like, what is going on here? Why is there a block here? And sometimes I find that, like, I don't actually want to do that thing. Um, and when I say I don't want to, it's not like, oh, I don't feel like doing it right now. It's like I never feel like doing it because it's not in alignment with what I'm actually, trying to move towards. It's not in
Do
alignment
you
with what I think
take it
I should be doing.
do you then take it off your list or keep it on the list?
Well, when I was in an office setting with a lot of people, what I would do is I would really look at that thing and be like, let me just reflect on this thing instead of, deciding I'm just going to, like, forget about it or do it. I'd be like, there's something with this thing that doesn't feel, it's just not feeling right for whatever reason. And I would really reflect on it and be like, okay, whose is this? Because I was in an organizational structure, I'd be like, if, first of all, is this the thing that needs to be done? If the answer is yes, okay, whose is this? Is it mine? Or is it somebody else's? Like, where does it fit more appropriately? And that was usually the problem, where it was like I was trying to do someone else's work a lot of times, and then I would be
Oh,
like, oh, this is not mine to do. I need to
yeah.
assign this to someone, or it needs to be workshopped, or I need somebody else's input before I move forward with this, or whatever. So, yeah, so that's why I would say, like, lists, yes, and reflection, yes, too.
Agree. I
Hmm.
I often quickly remove things from my list if I
Mhm.
find that I have
Yeah.
added something that is,
Mhm.
I want to call it irrational sometimes, right? Like,
That happens, yeah.
right? Like on my
Mhm.
list is, for instance, cleaning some glass shelves that I hold stemware on.
Hmm.
And every day I walk by, I was like, God, I really need to go in there and just like give it a good solid cleaning.
Mhm.
But is it something I'm prioritizing? No. Whether it
That
be for
part, yeah.
time or I'm like, do I want to move around all this stemware when I have three
Mm,
dogs running around me? Is that safe? Will glasses break because I'm going to trip over a dog?
mm. You know, one thing I like to do with stuff like that is I like to, and I mean, this can be a trap, so be careful. But I use my calendar for all of my like tasks.
Hmm.
I do use like spreadsheets sometimes for like project management and whatnot, but when I'm really ready to like do something and I know when it needs to be done, I put it on my calendar because if you don't have time to do it, then
Yeah.
you're not going to do it, right? So I
Yep.
use time blocking for that reason. And you know, you have your daily like hit list, if you will, like you were talking about. And then when there are things like that where I'm like, okay, I'm never going to do this because it doesn't fit into my like regular daily routine, basically,
Hmm.
I'll take that and I'll like make a special day in the future where I'll be like, I'm committing to, you know, and I know you do this, like a deep cleaning day,
Yep.
March 1st or whatever. And I just start making the list for that day. And I block off that whole day to be like, on this day, this is the only thing I'm doing. So that it becomes like the only thing I have to do. And it's not competing with all of these other things that are gonna, you know, trump it. Like there's gonna be other priorities, obviously, right? So it's like I just make a list for that day. I block off that day. That day is for that. And then you got to keep yourself honest when you get to that day. That's the only problem.
I have taken this year a new strategy, which is
Hmm.
bel- make the task into small, consumable bites, right?
That
So
helps too. Yeah. Yeah.
I've decided earlier this week when I was thinking through a problem for my work, I was going to clear out a shelf while the dogs were napping, clean it, and then put everything back. And I'm like, oh, look, I don't have to do 6 shelves in one day. I could just do
The bite
one a
size.
week, two a
The
week,
bite
whatever it
size
is.
strategy. Yes. I
Yeah.
love a
And
bite size situation.
and I've noticed it makes me feel better about it because hey, I have done part of the task and it
Hmm.
wasn't as bad and I can do it again and it gives me time to reflect on, either what I'm working on or what is working for me as a human being. And just the
Yeah.
reflection time sometimes pays off when you're in the middle of a task that is easy to just,
Hmm.
I don't want to say zone out, or maybe zone in on.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I agree, and I want to plus one that approach too because I have found that just doing something makes everything a lot better than doing like you know putting it off too long can actually like make it into a bigger thing than it
Yep.
needs to be, right? So like
Yep.
if that's happening, if you're like getting dread from it or something like that, it just depends honestly. Like it depends on like does putting it on another day where you have a whole plan for it like make you feel like okay, that thing's in its place. I don't have to worry about that. I can get it off of my plate and I know I'm going to do it on that day. It's going to be nice to just like be able to focus on that, right? Or does it make you dread that day? If it makes you dread that day, then like I feel like there's human psychology of just
If there
starting
is,
anything,
I think
just
for
one
me,
little
it's that I worry if on the one day
thing.
something
Hmm.
happens that causes me
Yeah.
not to complete the task,
Hmm.
how not nice to myself am I going to be?
And that's why we always have to be kind.
We
The
do.
practice of being kind.
And you're always a work in progress. It doesn't have to be perfect. It shouldn't be perfect because I kind of think that would be really boring,
Oh
right?
God,
Like
yeah. What would be
if
the
you had,
point?
yeah, ugh,
I really don't. I feel like it's almost like saying like if there was nothing left to learn. Like, oh,
right?
that would be boring. Like,
Totally.
just know everything. That sucks. There's
And the
nothing
would
surprising.
suck. Which let's
Yeah.
go back to another Greek philosopher. It is Socrates who said, "I know that I don't know everything."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a good thing.
It is absolutely a good thing.
Because without curiosity, like, I mean, that I just feel like those are some of the drivers from childhood that still, yeah, still keep me going, right? Like, I mean, if you had nothing else to learn, like, what would be the point of reading or, seeking out anything? I mean, I guess we could still enjoy art, maybe. I'm like trying to
But
literally imagine
I,
it.
I feel like you would still be curious of art, right? Like,
That's
what if you
true.
liked Renaissance painters and then you decide you
Mm,
want postmodernists and then you want
mm-hmm,
cubists, and I'm running
mm-hmm.
out of art forms that come to
Surrealists.
mind. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. And so yeah, I love the idea of, staying curious, taking stock at different times. But it's all about also like making the space and time for that, like even if you, let's say you want to tap back into your childhood curiosity. Well, I don't know how you used to, do that. Maybe it was books. I feel like that for you would be a good example of like how you started reading for pleasure or whatever, right? Like
Yes, indeed,
that makes
correct.
sense. But like, like I don't know, for me, like it might be like traveling more. Like I haven't done a good road trip in a long time. Like maybe I need to go find a new place to explore or something like that. It's like just taking that time to even think about it. Like
Yeah.
we don't give ourselves, I feel like as adults, like I don't want to say we take ourselves too seriously because, like there's a lot of seriousness in the world, sure, but it's just like, what about the joy? What about the curiosity? What about the love of just life? Like where do you get to really, go back to that and just have it, just enjoy the joy, if you will.
Right. And like I feel like I've always tried to regain that childhood wonderment that you
Mm-hmm.
had when you found something that just made your heart
Mm.
sing.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that might be, right? Maybe it was riding your bike down the street with your friends, or maybe it was picking wildflowers in the forest, whatever it could be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's probably the hard part is like we get caught up in not just the rat race, but in the kind of drudgery of it all, I want to say. Like, you got to get groceries. You got
The
to pay
adulting
bills.
of it all.
The adulting of it all. Like, you got a lot of things you got to do. And, you know, I was just thinking, I don't know, like, I feel like there's a million movies about this, like, where there's a character who just, like, is done with, like, doing the same thing every day. We're like, they just start thinking, like, there's got to be more to life than this, right? And I think it's because we're told this fantasy of like if you just keep working as hard as you possibly can and achieving as much as you possibly can and sacrificing, then you're going to be happy.
Oh my God, Puritans.
Exactly,
Well, wait, that only
exactly
took me
that.
like an hour for me to bring up the Puritans.
But it's exactly that where it's like, okay, first of all, lies, and second of all, like you can touch that now.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest myth that I would love to like, always come back to and try to like just shrink a little bit more every time because the idea that like you have to wait until like when you were saying keeping up with the Joneses, the reason why that's such a toxic like framing is if you're keeping up with somebody who's always achieving more, you're never going to get there. So this place that you think you're going to like finally be happy, like, oh, they got a Cadillac, I got a Cadillac, or whatever the hell it is, like you're never actually going to get there because now they got, I don't know, Land Rover, whatever. Like now you need to buy one of those, whatever it is. And the truth is like you have to be able to find a way to access happiness right now.
Yeah. And it's got to be something you want for you,
Mm-hmm. It's
whatever that
nobody.
could
It's
be.
no one else's definition. It's not the Joneses' definition for sure. And
No,
frankly, a lot of times, like I'm thinking about the Joneses a lot, but it's like a lot of times those people ain't happy either. Like they're just trying to show
correct.
off for you. Like if they're trying to show off for other people, that by definition means that they're probably not happy because they're still seeking other people's affirmation.
Yep.
And
I have.
so, go ahead.
It makes me think of some maybe 90s movie
Hmm.
or 90s rap song that says something like more money, more problems.
More money, more problems. It was a rap song.
Okay, thank you.
Now it's playing in my head a little bit. Yeah.
And I'm sure it wasn't actually the word more, but that's how it translates in
No,
my
it was
little brain.
MO apostrophe. It was great. The 90s. Gotta love them.
Yes.
Yeah, and it can be true, right? That can very well be true because like it's kind of like with more power comes more responsibility. You get more money, you got, other people telling what you're supposed to do with it. It's like just more attention, frankly, and
Yeah.
all the things. And this is why I'm really excited to enter my quiet, thriving era. That's my next era.
Oh, I love this era. What do you envision for the
I
quiet,
envision
thriving era?
I'm going to be very wealthy and tell nobody. That's good. That's a no. But I mean wealthy in every respect, right? Like I'm going to be
Yeah.
healthy in my mind and my body and my spirit. I'm going to be quietly healing, continuously like growing. I'm going to quietly like learn so much about myself and so much about the world and all the things that like, bring me joy. Um, I'm going to quietly work towards like my larger goals and just not explain myself to anyone. I just feel
Oh,
so grown and it's such a wonderful feeling that I just hope that people get there as soon as they possibly can because everything that we're talking about today very much makes me feel like I'm looking back, which is great because that means again that like I can see the growth, and growing past these ideas of like and feelings, frankly, they're not even ideas. Like it's not even something that we're super conscious of. It's so subconscious where you're just like okay, I'm going to pick this major and I'm going to do this and you think it's all coming from you. So, like being able to look back and be like, no.
yep.
I'm going to move ahead clearly and with what I want to do. And I'm not going to ask anyone's permission. And I'm not going to be thinking about what they want me to do. And I really could not care less because, as I've said, when I was a child, I have to live my life, not you.
Yes. I am finding that I am embracing my Europeanness more than I ever have before
Yes, I love that
because
for you.
right, like
So much
it
healthier for
is.
you, too. Like,
And I think it's really like, oh, absolutely, because like the European definition of success isn't the McMansion and a Maserati. It's, do you have enough time where you can
mm.
choose how you want to spend your time?
Oh God, and time is truly the most valuable thing. You can't really buy more time. I mean, if
Oh,
you're lucky, you might be able to buy the medical, whatever that helps you live a little longer, but you can't buy more time. It's not for sale.
you can. And I think a lot of it is just the mindset is more in the moment because it
Mm-hmm.
tends to be an intrinsically motivated culture as opposed to the US, which has an extrinsically motivated culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that causes people to multitask all the time and achieve, achieve,
Mm.
achieve in a way that is visual for everybody else.
You mentioned multitasking, and I just have to say it again if I've said it before. Have you heard of single tasking?
Oh, that warms my heart. Oh my
Because the
God.
first time I heard someone say single tasking kind of blew my mind, no lie, because I was like, I've never heard anyone say that. But like, I've only heard multitasking, right? Like, I've only ever, like, no one ever just says, like, oh, you should be single tasking.
But it's right. Like it makes sense because you're going to
Yes.
dedicate your time. It's going to probably be
Energy,
quicker. You're going to use less
focus.
energy and it's going to be
Yes.
over quicker and
Hmm.
completed.
And better
Yeah.
quality,
And
way
better
better quality,
quality.
way better quality. I mean, I think the science shows that like multitasking is actually an illusion. So like nobody can actually multitask. It just takes some people like, I'm not going to say some people. It just takes time to adjust from one task to the other. So every time you distract yourself with another task, you're actually just like you said, like you're losing time, so it's less efficient. So yeah, like everyone that is doing great things, like they're not multitasking. They're
No.
taking these 2 hours for this thing, period. They're not going to be disturbed. They're not going to be taking calls. They're not going to be answering messages. They're going to be doing that thing. And then that thing is going to be done. And doesn't that just feel good?
It does. I have started at business lunches making sure that my phone is silent
Hmm.
and not in my sight or accessible. So, like, it is secured inside my handbag.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've noticed now when I see people like on their phones with me while we're at lunch, I'm like, I don't say anything, of course, because I am who I am. But I'm like, poor person. I hope you
So
find your
distracted.
I hope you find your journey so that you can enjoy a moment.
Yeah. And that's the part that I'm most interested in now. Like being, in this place where I feel like I've taken just a few more steps, down the path that I didn't know I needed to take. Like I want to go back and figure out like how do I get more people to take the next step, in theirs.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answers except for that, I can share my journey, of course. I feel like there's a opportunity to illuminate the possibility, so just like the exposure of it all, like you're talking to someone and they feel stuck, or maybe it's you, right? And
Yeah.
just like thinking, just imagining, thinking about childhood. If you're a child, what's the best thing that kids do? They use their imagination, right? So like
Oh,
getting back to that of being able to use your imagination and envision something different. Like I remember the first time I heard someone say trauma healing, and I was like, you can heal trauma? Like, I was like, whoa, that's so cool. Because I'd only heard of like trauma. Like, here's this bad thing that happened to you, and now this is the impact of that bad thing, you know? And then I was like, trauma healing, cool. Like, I want to do that,
cool.
So just exposure. Like, and so that's why I think it's so important that we, share our experiences and our journeys here. And I think it'd be so cool if any of our listeners would share back with us because, we're all just at different parts of it and talk about nonlinear, like the winding paths and the individual paths are all unique on top of that. Like life is
Yeah,
such a fun, interesting journey for sure.
it is. And I feel like the more that I go into the moment, the more I appreciate the path, the
Mm,
journey, the acceptance that small things can mean big things to me and have big
yes.
feelings. And big things I can have no feelings towards. And
Hmm.
that's okay.
Yes. Oh, I love the like just acceptance of
Yeah.
your emotional reaction too. Like the emotional policing has to stop, first of all. Like
Yeah.
people just telling people how they should feel about things is so crazy to me. I'm just like, okay. Has that ever worked for you? Like,
No, I'm certain it has not.
so that's just a silly premise, but knowing yourself that like all of your emotions are correct and valid, right? And
Yes.
like being able to also like release them, like watch them pass through your body if that's what you want to do. Like you don't have to engage every thought or feeling
No, you do
either.
not.
And like what's your North Star? If you really want to get somewhere, like you might have to traverse a whole bunch of different types of terrains and all of that stuff, but if you keep your North Star, I feel like those are your values. That's, how you want to live. That's what you want to be in alignment with. So, yeah, I'm so happy we got to share a little bit more about our journeys. I feel like we covered like childhood till today
Oh, I know.
and
It feels
beyond.
so good.
Yes, and I'm feeling inspired to just embody my childhood self again in
Yeah.
ways. Like I gave you three things. Thank you for asking me that question, but it also kind of opened up a thing for me to like be back in touch with her
Yeah.
and maybe have a conversation with her. So I'm excited to get to spend some more time with her.
Me too. And I think we all
Mhm.
should, right? Like embrace your childhood self, appreciate it, and strive for a day where you have that childhood wonderment.
Love it for all of us. Well, this has been another beautiful conversation as always. And I love you, Tessa. Thank you so much for leading us through it. And I'm so grateful for anyone listening and hoping that this enriches your life in some small way. And any final words from you, Tessa, before we hop off?
I just feel the love, and I want everyone to like feel the love. Just take a moment, pause,
Mm,
and feel the love for yourself, the love for your life, and the love and appreciation of other people and their choices and their lives.
thank you for that. Much love to all of you. Until next time, stay uplifted, y'all.